Okay, in today's video I will show you step by step how to make a birthday mermaid cake, and I will let you know how to make the best sponges ever. Okay, we're gonna start with preparing some pans. I just put some paper just on the bottom. That's a trick. You put the paper just on the bottom and the butter, and do not put a butter or the paper all around on the sides of your pans. We have measured, we have weighted even a sponge mixture so they are equally even. So you want to do that as well. And we've got our belts. The belts will help you to bake your cakes evenly and make sure they are moist. No one wants a dry cakes, right? So to make sure those cakes will turn out like nice and moist and not dry, you want to put evenly the sponge mixture and also use the belt. Right, now to make the sponges even more moist, we want to add some syrup, and we're gonna make it from some boiling water which is cooled down, some juice from the lemon, and also from some vodka. Some French people obviously and Polish people like to add some alcohol to your cake. If you don't want to, you don't need to, so you just take out vodka. And we want to make the syrup, put the syrup all around the edges first, all the way to the middle of the cake. So that's how we're gonna add this on. The sponge. Now, the most important part from any cake is the sponge. You need a good solid recipe. You just need one, which is obviously the one, and it's gonna work every time. Turn out the best, nice, moist, not some dry, awful cake. So this one, the recipe, if you're interested in the recipe for a sponge, just email this email address which you can see on the screen. It will cost you £5. Make sure you put in the title sponge for a cake, and then I will send you a recipe with instructions, exact instructions, which gonna turn out the best each time. Always you can count on that sponge. It will be nice, moist, and the best sponge cake you can have, as you can see in here. It looks really good and it's never dry. It turns out completely perfect each time. So we're gonna start obviously with baking our sponges. I'm gonna make in today's video, I'm gonna make 3. I was planning to make 4, but I thought it would be probably too tall and I don't need that much cake this time. So I have just made 3 sponges this time. They are nice and moist, as you can see. Just another tip, if you will make your sponges straight after baking, leave them for about 10-15 minutes and then you can wrap them in a cling film, nice and tight, and that will keep the moisture in, and you can then leave them in the fridge for another week, so you can make your sponges a week in advance, which is always a bonus, right? Because the cake take time, so we can make the cake later on, put the cake together. Now, moving on to jam. We want the jam to be quite sour, not sweet, to break down the sweetness of any cake, which usually, let's be honest, the cakes are really sweet. We want to break down the sweetness, and the best jam, which will do the job perfectly, will be a jam from blackcurrant. Now we're moving on to the filling. So we want to add the essence of your choice. We're gonna add some other ingredients, obviously, to make sugar, egg yolks, some butter and milk. So quite simple, quite sweet. You can obviously regulate the sweetness of it, so it's up to you. We've got a vanilla pudding here, so we're gonna mix vanilla pudding. We're gonna put our butter in a mixture and add some egg yolks, and then we've got a ready nice and smooth filling for our cake. It's quite yellow, but that's okay. It's all going inside, so that's completely fine. Now we're moving on to our sponges. That's our equipment for today for a murder. I'm just kidding. For all the equipment which you need, I'm just gonna show you quickly in this video, but there's another video, what do you need for a cake, so I would recommend to watch that other video. We want a scraper to make sure the edges are nice and smooth. Our jam, blackcurrant, as I said, really recommended to break down that sweetness. And we've got our nice and smooth filling there. It's just plain vanilla, which is quite nice and goes with any cake. That are sponges, and as I said, we made three. I have cut each one in half because I want to put some jam in between, and then vanilla buttercream, jam, and then vanilla buttercream, jam, and vanilla buttercream. So we will be making sure that the filling are nice and even. So we want to use the same amount each time. So then once we cut the cake, it's nice and equal, and you can see each part nicely. Right, so we're gonna move on to our buttercream. The most important thing is when you're making a cake is always to put a little bit a dot of buttercream on very bottom and spread it so your cake won't move on, it won't move when you try to decorate the cake. So we're gonna obviously make the sponges a bit wet, but you have to be careful again, you don't want to make them too wet, so you have to use your own judgment. So just use that. This is our first sponge covered in buttercream. So we have added on the very top, you can see the yellow filling, so that's a buttercream to go inside, and we're using a different one to go outside. The one which we're using outside is plain vanilla, and it's perfect vanilla buttercream for outside of a cake. You can use it also inside. I decided today that I'm gonna use a different one for inside, different one for outside, which is completely fine. But as I said, you can use the one outside, inside or outside. If you want a recipe for the one outside, so your buttercream, it's American buttercream, which is perfect consistency. Again, let me know, that's how it looks like. You can make your buttercream ahead of time, again a week before, as long as it's closed neatly, and you can keep it in the fridge for about a week. You can freeze it as well. Once you cover your cake all around with a first layer of buttercream, make sure you put it in a fridge, and then after probably 2 hours or longer, you can leave it overnight, you're gonna take it out and put a second layer of the buttercream. The second layer of the buttercream, of course, you can add some color to it, or you can keep it white, it's up to you. In today's video, I'll be making a mermaid cake, so I'll be using those two colors to make it blue. I will show you in a second. If you want a recipe for the buttercream, it's American buttercream, which is very, very nice and smooth and perfect for any cake. Let me know. Again, email the email address and just put in the title a recipe for a buttercream. Now, this is a color. Obviously, it's up to you what kind of color you want. In here, I have made mermaid cakes, mermaid nails, sorry, and that's how they look. So I have added some gold color a little bit, and our finished cake looks like this. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you've got any question, please leave them in the comments below, and let me know if you need any recipe.